That's the sound of a big deal. At Wayfair, that sound happens a lot. Dream sofa for half the price? Big deal. New dining table you've been eyeing for months? Big deal. Finally picking up those last few pieces and finishing that bedroom? Now that's a really big deal. Whatever your home needs, Wayfair has the selection, the savings, and over millions of 5-star reviews to back it up. Shop wayfair.com today before someone else snags your big deal.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
What 5 things do we need to do to completely change our life or business for the positive? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
Serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it out.
Welcome back to your weekly dose of Make 1 Billion People Happy Learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you, infinitely more importantly, you are a driven entrepreneur, a business owner, or hoping to be one very soon. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. Huge, and I mean huge episode today. Today, David Meltzer shares the 5 steps and 3 values that we all need to be enacting to improve not just our business, but our lives and the lives of 1 billion others. And then I'm also going to let you in on next week's interview episode who jumped college, left college in order to go out there and make money online. And now his copy is earning millions of dollars for his clients. As per usual, the Dark Horse Corrals are chock full of personal, business, and marketing GOLD spilling from every corner of the Dark Horse HQ. So let's get to the starting gates and go. All right, my Dark Horse friends and family, today's guest is David Meltzer. Now, David Meltzer is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing, and he's also formerly served as the CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency. Now, for those of you that don't know, this was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. Yeah, show me the money. All right, now David has made his life's mission to empower over 1 billion. Yeah, you heard it right. Billion with a B. To empower over 1 billion people to be happy. This simple yet powerful mission has really led him on this incredible journey of providing one thing: value. In all of his content, in all of his communication, that is exactly what you're going to receive, including this amazing interview he gave us here on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur. As part of that mission, for the past 20 years, he's been providing free weekly trainings to empower others to be happy, and he shares a lot about that towards the end. So, with no further ado, let's get right to it. David, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share my story and hopefully a few lessons along the way.
And I'm sure you will. I know you've got a pretty interesting story to tell. And literally, let's just go right there right away. And I'll step back and, tell us, your up and comings, what you've been through and why you love doing what you do so much.
Absolutely. Well, I grew up with a single mom, 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl in a place called Akron, Ohio. I was actually born in the same hospital as LeBron James and Steph Curry. So nice. Basketball trivia for you. But I grew up, and my story and journey is about my relationship with money in 3 different worlds that I lived in. I started out in a world of not enough. I was a victim. Everything happened to me. I was a why me person. Why don't I have this? Why can't I go to summer camp? Why don't we have food? A good meal out for us. The highlight was, as a kid, I always tell people with 6 kids, we would share 2 large French fries at McDonald's and a big bowl. And that to me was like, going to the most extravagant restaurant. And yet I was really happy, even though I was living in this scarce world of not enough. And I had dedicated my life since I was 5 and my father left to buying my mom a house and a car, because the only time I wasn't happy was when I caught my mom crying over financial stress, the car would break down, or she couldn't afford to, feed us all, or whatever it was. I would catch her and I'd say to myself, money must buy happiness, because I'm happy all the time. The only time I'm not is because of money. So I'm going to make a lot of money to buy my mom a house and a car. And through progression of different philosophies like doctor, lawyer, failure, I end up going to law school, even though my dream was to be a professional football player. I actually played college football, and my very first play got ran over by Christian Okoye, who was the Nigerian nightmare. He ended up being AFC Player of the Year. But I remember lying on my back saying, doctor, lawyer, or failure, and went to law school with one purpose in mind, to be rich. So I reverse engineer what law school I went to and found out that oil and gas litigators made the most money out of law school, and the best law school to go to for oil and gas litigation was Tulane University in New Orleans. They taught both civil and common law. So I went there and graduated. And because I was so focused on making money, it gave me an opportunity. It ended up being a blessing that I actually looked at all types of opportunities, because all I cared about was making money. So I would have shoveled shit with my hands 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, if it paid me enough to buy my mom a house and a car. I didn't care.
Right.
The blessing was that when I graduated, I had 2 job offers. One was to be an oil and gas litigator and make 6 figures, probably have enough to buy my mom a house and a car in a few years, and have a very stable, successful, financially successful career. But the other was an entrepreneurial venture to sell legal research in 1992 online. And that's the old online. It was called DOS with 9600 baud modems and monochrome screens. You carried your computer on a luggage cart. It was not, no such thing as laptops back then. And anyway, I ended up asking my mother, my key advisor, what I should do. Should I take the law job, or should I be a salesperson? And that's when I got the golden advice to be a real lawyer. That she told me the internet was a fad and I'd be making a huge mistake. And for the first time in my life, I voted for what I wanted. I decided that just because somebody loves me doesn't mean they give me good advice. And I voted for what I wanted in my life. And if I'm going to have one takeaway for everyone, especially this time of year, vote for what you want.
Right.
Vote for what you want, because the majority of the people on earth vote for what other people want for them. And then they resent those people when they get it. Or even worse, a lot of people also vote for what they don't want in their life. And then they're surprised when they get what they don't want. At a very young age, I started to vote for what I wanted. 9 months out of law school, trying to focus on productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, I became a millionaire. And I bought my mom a house and a car. Now, the blessing of that was that I was happy and felt successful, but there was also the other side of it, that it reaffirmed that money buys love and happiness. And my career continued that reaffirmation of the relationship that I had with money. So we sold the company in 1995 for $3.4 billion, which set me personally in a different trajectory. I moved my career from being a salesperson up to the Silicon Valley and really branded myself a technology guru and learned how to raise money. And I assisted in raising hundreds of millions of dollars in Sand Hill Road in the wireless proxy server space, transcoding the internet onto WAP phones, flip phones.
Okay.
And then because of the positioning that I had, by the time I was 30, I was a multimillionaire, married to my dream girl, a girl I met in the 4th grade when I moved out to San Diego, a girl that my best friend in 6th grade camp asked to go steady for me. And he embarrassed me when she said no, tell me to ask him himself. And but meanwhile, at 30 years old, I had homes and golf course, ski mountains. I had cars, boats, anything that I wanted. And that was the first time that I had any indication that I wasn't happy. Any indication. The first was that my father gave me a birthday present after 20 years of neglecting me. And my birthday, he gave me a jacket, a sport coat with no pockets. And at 30 years old, multi-millionaire, married to my dream girl. I was CEO of the world's first smartphone at the time, by the way, the Windows CE device called the PC phone. I wasn't ready to hear the message my dad was sending. I called him aggravated and said, "Why would you send me a birthday present I can't wear? Why are you punishing me?" And he said, "It's to remind you that you're just like me. Money cannot buy you happiness. I want you to learn that lesson, David. You want to be buried in this jacket. Hang it in your closet. Remind yourself that you can't take anything with you when you're gone. You have to really work on this relationship. Don't make the same mistakes I did." Well, I wasn't ready to hear that. And I told him to F off, and I hated him, and why would you punish me? 6 years later, the second warning sign came with my relationship to money. I went golfing with my best friend, Rob, the guy who asked my wife to go steady for me at sixth grade camp. And I asked him if he would go to the Masters with me. I had arranged going to the cabins with Curtis Strange and hanging out with Chris Carter and Shannon Sharp and all these great football players and baseball players, Fred McGriff. And without even blinking, he's like, "I don't want to go with you." I was like, "Rob, why not? The Masters is the bucket list item. What are you talking about? I've worked so hard." I was running, by the way, at the time, Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment, the most notable sports agency in the world. So I had access to these extraordinary events and extraordinary people. And he wanted nothing to do with it. He said, "Dave, I don't like who you hang out with or what you're doing." And I was taken back. I said, "What are you talking about? I'm not doing what those guys are doing." He then said, "David, you can lie to me, but don't lie to yourself." And that really hurt. That set me off. I realized that I had surrounded myself with a bunch of yes people. There's a great book out there you got to buy. It's called Don't Take Yes for an Answer. I'd been taking yes for an answer for a decade. Everybody telling me yes so they could get down payments for their houses and new cars and fly private, But once again, up until that point, every reaffirmation in my life was that money bought love and happiness. And then 2 weeks later, my life would change. I was, like I said, running the sports agency, access to everything. I was going to go to the Grammy Awards with Lil Jon, the rapper. And I asked my wife if I could go. And she said, "I really don't want you to. You're not paying attention to work. You're not paying attention to the family. You really got to get your act together." So I decided I'd lie to her, change clothes in the car, and I went to the Grammy Awards after lying to her, came home completely wasted at 5:30 in the morning. She was waiting for me, and that's when my life changed, because for the first time, my wife stopped telling me yes. And she told me she wasn't happy. She told me I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, or I was going to be dead. And she wanted to be happy and was going to leave me. I wish I was ready to hear that at that time, but I went to sleep angry and woke up even madder and thought about how I was going to take her love and happiness. I was going to figure out getting divorced, take all her money, and then lo and behold, I look over in the closet and there's that jacket.
You're now listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
It was shining me like the movie The Natural, shining on the bat, the Wonder Boy bat.
Right.
It was just shining there and broke my heart because I realized I didn't hate my father. I had told my father he was a liar, a cheater, manipulator, overseller, back-end seller. And I was that. And I hated myself. And so that day in 2006, 2 years before I lost everything, 2 years before I lost over $100 million, 2 years before I was evicted from my own home into a rented house with rented furniture and one car and 3 daughters under 10 and 1 son on the way. 2 years before that, I hit rock bottom, and I decided that I'd take stock in who I was and wanted to become. And that day was the change of my life. And I started to live again with gratitude, which gave me perspective, working out the greatest muscle that I have, the greatest determination of finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything. I live with forgiveness, which brought me peace, knowing that there's only one person to forgive, myself. And I can't give what I don't have. I started being accountable for everything. No more living below the line and blame, shame, and justification. I was taking control of my life in 2006. I was accountable for everything. All I had to do was ask myself, what did I do to attract this to myself? And what am I supposed to learn from it? Knowing that pain is just an indicator. It's not a stop sign. Pain is whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, or financial pain. It's just an indicator that you have a lesson to learn. It's an indicator that you have a better direction to go to get you to a better situation or to make your situation better. And I started living with gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability in order to not only be motivated to get me up, get me back up, get me started, get me back started, but more importantly, to live my life inspired. No longer would I live as a victim in the world of not enough. No longer would I live even in the world of just enough, where I was buying things to be happy. I was buying things I didn't need, or different things I didn't need. And I was even buying things to impress people I didn't even like, just to be happy. But now I lived in a world of more than enough, an inspired world where everything comes through me with gratitude, forgiveness, appreciation, and accountability for others. No longer would I give to receive as a negotiation or a trade. Now I live in a world of abundance, of more than enough, where I receive so I can give. And that's where I've been living for the last 15 years. And that's how I got on a mission through losing everything. And now today, to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. I do trainings every Friday. I give of myself, through myself, for others.
So, and actually, that's one of the places I wanted to definitely go, because I was reading about how you want, and actually, it's in the bio I introduced you with, that you have made this public declaration. And you just said it again, of this mission of empowering 1 billion, and that's with a B, everybody, 1 billion people. Yeah. I mean, how do you it? I mean, obviously you're being intentional in that. I mean, how are you executing that? Just through these trainings, or what else you got going on?
Yeah, right. So that's a great question. So number one, I want to tell everyone, people will laugh at you, scoff at you, make fun of you, and then they will applaud you. So when I started to think about how am I going to tell people that I want to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, people are going to think I'm crazy. My own family said, "Who do you think you are, Tony Robbins? Who do you think you are, Jesus Christ?" They were making fun of me. And when I figured that I could find 1,000 people like you, for example, and empower you to empower 1,000 people in your lifetime, to empower 1,000 people in their lifetime, 1,000 times 1,000 is 1,000,000, 1,000,000 times 1,000 is 1 billion. If I can empower over 1 billion people and create a collective consciousness of the greatest virus of all time called happiness, the virus is spread by witnessing it. It strengthens us mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and financially. It actually strengthens our immune system, so it'll actually protect us against other viruses. If I could get this virus, happiness, out there in a collective consciousness of abundance, of the world of more than enough, I, humble David Meltzer, could change the world. And people would believe me and allow me to empower them to do so. So I have been doing trainings for 20 years. Every Friday for free. I have a podcast called The Playbook, which has millions of downloads, which people listen to help them as well. I've written 4 books that are out there, and I give those for free. I do exercises and guides and training courses that are recorded for free. I also have a TV show, 2 of them, The Elevator Pitch, to help people to pitch. And I also have a TV show, 2 Minute Drill, which is launching on Bloomberg next year. I have all of these different things that I do for free in order to effectuate one thing, helping people know pragmatically how to be happy so they can teach other people how to be happy.
And I think that all comes full circle into that giving. I mean, you're just killing it by putting out all this value. So obviously it's going to circle back to you and build back up, I think, which probably just empowers you to give even more.
Right. And I think that's the paradigm shift I want everyone to learn, is that you can't give what you don't have. So what our problem is not asking how we can be of service or value. Everyone loves to give. Our biggest problems and my biggest concern is that we don't feel worthy of what we're already connected to. We don't feel worthy of what we want to receive. And you can't give what you don't have. If we get more people to focus in on receiving through themselves for other, if we get people to focus in on it's okay to receive, it's the intention of what you're going to do with what you receive, we're much better off than teaching people to give, because they'll have more to give.
Amen there. I mean, I heard that message so long ago, and I was lucky enough to actually acknowledge it and receive it into my world. So yeah, I'm all about the giving first. I know. I know through your ups and downs, of course, your lifetime, you've probably, I'll say, quote unquote, identified with that dark horse persona. How do you think it was you were able to navigate through that? Just that positive mindset, or was there some values or practices
Yeah, thank you. Because there's 5 daily practices utilizing the values that I have, right?
Okay.
Gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. But there's 5 daily practice. The first is take inventory of your values every day and don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. Know your personal values every day, your experiential values, giving and receiving values. Know those every day and don't be afraid of changing your mind. That just means you're growing, accelerating, and changing. Secondly, ask. You cannot out-ask the universe. Don't just ask how you can be of service or value to others, but ask how others can help you. Ask, do you know anyone that can help me in person, on the phone, via email and media, radio, print, TV, and social media? Most people know about 1,000 people. You exponentially are cheating yourself if you're not asking people if they know someone that can help you. Then third, be a student. Studying means to pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences you want in your life. That's the mathematical equation of luck. Know and put your attention plus intention into the coincidences that you want, of what you have planned, what you don't have planned, and even your sleep. My tomorrow starts today. I'm one of the few people that have a routine that includes a wind down routine for tomorrow so that I can wake up at 4 a.m. at my highest frequency. Number 4, do it now. The difference between successful people and those others are that successful people get stuff done. 100% of the things you do now get done. So ask yourself, can I do it now? And if you can, do it. If you can't, put it in your calendar to study the next day and prioritize it by importance. And then finally, before we finish up, most importantly, the biggest practice that you can have is the practice ending fear. Practicing ending fear is a 4-step process. Number 1 is to identify what you're afraid of. There is primary and secondary fears. For me, I know that I'm afraid of the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, the need to be inferior, the need to be superior, the need to be anxious, frustrated, angry, worried, resentful. All of these needs, I need to practice identifying, because I know if I don't identify when my ego-based consciousness is accelerating me in the wrong direction, I'm going to end up in the wrong zip code or area code. I need to, number 1, know and identify what I'm afraid of, and then be a ferocious Buddha and stop. The second step is, when I identify that I'm an ego-based consciousness, stop and identify that I need to calm down and then breathe like a Buddha. Step 3, drop. Breathe down deep through your nose, past your eyes, out to the end of the universe, and then finally roll in the right trajectory. Get rid of the interference and corrosion between you and the unbelievable source of power, light, and love and lessons that you're always connected to. And get rid of the interference and corrosion between you and everything else you're connected to, all people, places, and things. And if you do these 5 things, if you are able to take inventory of values, ask and attract, student your calendar, do it now, and especially practice ending fear, I promise you, you will manifest everything you desire in your life rapidly and accurately. And most importantly, you'll be able to empower others to be happy. And if you can do that, you'll make me happy. So please join me every Friday if you can. If you don't, catch the replays on Spotify, on Entrepreneur, on every platform. It's a top podcast, the Playbook. That's my number 1 podcast are those trainings. I'll give you the exercises, guides, and books for free. All you got to do is reach out, david@dmeltzer.com.
All right, David, thank you so much. And I know I want to be mindful of your time. I'm sure you've got a million things to do. We're going to be sure to get all those links down into the show notes. There's so many gems you've packed into here. Any final ones before we say goodbye?
My last and favorite one for everyone: be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I appreciate it so much. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time, Dave.
Take care.
All right, there you go, my Dark Horse friends and family. The man, David Meltzer. You know, there's a few people that you get to the joy and the pleasure of interviewing over the course of doing something like this, a podcast, or maybe you just get to meet them as part of doing your business, and there's something about them you just feel coming off them, something about the way they carry themselves, the very presence. They seem to change the atmosphere of a room when they enter it. For me, I think David is one of those people, and I've met probably a small handful of that type of person across the course of my 50 plus years on this planet. Okay, so I want to share with you a few thoughts I came away with this. Thought number 1. Relationships with money and the jacket with no pockets, right? I think so many of us can resonate with this, right? However, perhaps only a few of us can honestly say that there have been times when they have been truly happy and money wasn't a defining part of that scene, right? Now, right? Don't get it twisted, right? I've been without money. I mean, I've been truly hungry and truly wondering where the next meal was gonna come from. Type of without money. And I've been with money, and yeah, of course, being with it is far easier. I mean, you have vastly more choices. But I can say, honestly, from the heart, that there have been a number of times where there wasn't money involved, and I was still truly happy. So be mindful of your relationship with money and how you link it to your happiness. It is a tool. It's a tool for living, it's a tool for giving, and it's a tool for creating. So remember that age-old adage that money cannot buy you happiness. And remember, the jacket with no pockets, you can't take it with you. Thought number 2, vote for what you want. Follow your dreams and passions. David had that passion to make money, right? He wanted to buy his mom that house and that car. David also did something we discussed here before a number of times. He started with the end in mind. Now, early on, that end in mind was making money. So that took him down the path of wanting to become a lawyer. He even went so far as reverse engineering that career path, determining that the oil and gas lawyers make the most money. Then he determined that the best place to go to become an oil and gas lawyer was Tulane University, right? So he did all those amazing success tips that we have shared here. Now, after completing his school, he had those 2 offers that were presented to him. One along that oil and gas lawyer path, and the other selling research online. And this was back in 1992. I remember those days, right? Computing and being in the computer field was completely different. So after asking his mom for some advice, he decided not to take it. He voted for what he wanted in his life. So vote for what you want. It's your life. It's your dreams and it's your passions. Be you and vote for what you want. Thought number 3, live in gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability. I think the key here is that all 3 of these amazingly free values and traits need to be turned on yourself. You need to turn them inward. Right? You heard me, on yourself. Stop pointing the finger outward to the world, but instead stand in front of that mirror. Take accountability for your part in your own world. I mean, come on. Throughout your entire life, who's the one constant in it, right? Who's the one that's been ever present? The one person that's always been there, good, bad, or ugly? Yeah, that's right. You. And you are the first person that you need to hold accountable and forgive, right? And forgive yourself, my friend, for you know what? Just forgive yourself and set your sail towards voting for what you want. Like we just talked about. Hold yourself accountable every step of the way as you begin setting those sails and heading towards what you want. Take command and control of yourself, your life, and your business, and you're going to feel a whole hell of a lot better for doing it. And of course, be grateful for what you currently have, as well as grateful for every wonderful day that's offered in the future, right? Be it today and then tomorrow and the day after, right? And then be grateful for every new and wonderful thing that enters into your world. Thought number 4, pain is an indicator. Oh my God, I loved that one so much. Much like I've told you over and over for, 44 episodes, now 45 episodes. It's not failure, it's feedback. Here to me, David was delivering the same message in his own words. Pain is an indicator. It's an indicator that there is some better direction, that you could take your situation, or there's some better way to get to a better situation. Thought number 5, let's all work together and make 1 billion people happy. Now that's a mission I personally can get behind 150%. Who can you touch today to make them even the tiniest bit happier? A mother, a brother, a sister, a client, a prospect, a customer, whoever. Give out your happiness, right? Fill your cup and then give it out, right? You are worthy, and so are those that you give it to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what ideas, thoughts, tips, what resonated with you, whatever they were, take some time today, right? Like I always say, and put them into action. Get out there, run your race, get your results, and let me hear about them. Seriously, Tracy at darkhorseschooling.com. Let me hear about your results. Let me hear what ideas you came away with, how you put them into action, and what results you got from them. Now, in next week's interview episode, our guest is going to be Andreas I want to say this right, Roaro, right? Andreas, he quit college to start making money online. Now, a lot of people thought he was nuts, thought he was crazy. We've all met that dark horse, right? But now his copy has earned his clients millions of dollars. But he still had to turn his own powers of persuasion inward, like we were just discussing, because he was unhappy, right? So he's going to share about that next week. Now, I know you want to keep getting these valuable tips, these inspirational stories from our guests and on this podcast. So please, if you haven't already, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, right? Give us a 5-star rating. Write us up a review. Let us know what you thought was awesome, what we could do to improve. And of course, don't keep all this entrepreneurial GOLD all to yourself. Share the podcast with other entrepreneurs and business owners that you know will get value from it. And hey, if you want to connect with us on a more personal level, with myself, or hang out with some other driven entrepreneurs, come on over to the Facebook group. Go to Facebook, look up Dark Horse Tribe, and join us. And if for some reason you can't find it on Facebook, go to darkhorseschooling.com/Dark Horse Tribe, all one word, Dark Horse Tribe, and that will get you right there. Heck, I'll even drop a link into the show notes here so you can just click on it and make it super easy, and we'll see you on the inside. And with that, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.